We're rolling.
Oh, we've been rolling.
Okay. Hey, Internet. Welcome to a fresh episode of the First and Last podcast featuring me, Joe.
That's it.
We'll do this a few times, and we'll get the best one.
And that's it. It's me this week.
And that's it. No, also we have Jimmy
Hey,
and our friend Jeff.
Hey, everyone.
he's back.
About time. I'm off probation. You've allowed me back.
He's been on the bench a long time, keeping it warm.
Yeah.
Sent him down to the minor leagues.
Been riding that pine.
Yeah. Josh is
Welcome.
now on probation.
Yeah.
He knows what he did. The listeners know what he did too, and we're just moving on.
I love how every time Josh is gone, we just act like he's been canceled.
And we're just, it's just future-proofing this episode because
It's coming.
something's gonna happen.
It's happening.
By the time this episode comes out in 3 days, something's gonna come up. So
Some dirty secrets.
we're just covering our bases.
There's a reason he left the States. So
He's left the country.
Yeah.
He's on the lam.
run. Yeah.
You'll never find him.
But yeah, our friend Jeff is here. Jeff, you've been in a few episodes?
Yeah. I think this is my 4th time.
Oh.
What's crazy is thanks to, I wouldn't blame COVID. I blame more Jimmy, but no.
Wow.
I had to laugh because I was looking back through some of the podcasts, and I mean, you guys are well over 200 episodes now, so that's awesome. That's a lot of TV watching, so I'm proud of you all.
Yes, thank you.
But I think my last episode was like in the 90s, something like that. So I haven't not been here for a while, so very excited
Real
to be back.
throwback.
Yeah.
Was the last one like Boy Meets World or something?
That was one of them. I think the last one
It was?
I did was, I think it was Derek. It was a Ricky Gervais.
Oh, yeah. I
show.
forgot about that. Man.
So
Well,
We also need to do that. What was his one that just ended
Afterlife.
on the flicks? Yeah.
Yeah.
We should probably do that pretty quick here before we miss that opportunity for relevance.
well,
You know about this?
no, I don't.
Okay.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Is that a reference I'm not getting? Is that from the show?
No, that is
No,
not from
okay.
the show. I think isn't that like a stand-up comedian? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I'm seeing that now.
Like a Seinfeld.
This guy gets it.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, all right. Thanks for having me. I will see my way out. Thank you.
we do things a lot differently now. It's been a while. We actually watch all of the episodes, so I hope you did your homework.
At once. Like on the same screen, all playing at once.
Just all playing at once. I feel like that was like an internet trope for a while, where like there'd be like a YouTube video of just like it's every episode of this show playing all at once, or it's like all versions of
man.
this song playing all at once.
Oh,
No, it seems like a mid 2000s.
I'll do some Googling.
Mid 2000s thing to me.
Some YouTubing.
Yeah, like early YouTube.
Yeah.
Early YouTube was kind of fun if you think about it. There's
remember when it
some
was
strange stuff on there. But
It's like a place where you could watch videos. I did a weird YouTube or just a weird personal thing yesterday.
Okay.
Where
yeah, go on.
I was going to YouTube and I was looking up shows, like concerts that I had been to,
Oh, wow.
um,
To see.
to see if I could find myself
Nice.
in someone's
No
cell phone
way.
video.
That is great.
No way.
So like it had to be like smaller shows and like shows where I know that I was like towards the front, so that if someone's shooting a video that like I would be in it.
How would you even remember those details?
Yeah, it was really just like searching like this band Milwaukee and like seeing if like that
Okay.
one show was there. But there
Pulling
was,
out
like,
your
one
old
video-
Ticketmaster tickets and checking the dates on.
There was like one show where like maybe that was me, but like the video is pretty fuzzy because again it's early YouTube. It's
Yeah.
like 2006 or something.
And think
So-
about the cell phones back then.
Well, I would
Yeah,
love
that
if like, well, I was looking at what concerts and I knew I was wearing this, and we've just found out you had a catalog of every concert that you ever went to. Be like, all right, this is what I wore because I knew in about 15 years I'm going to Google.
took a
Joe's
picture of
keeping a
myself.
log. Let me pull out my diary here. Somewhere I do have like a baseball card, folder with the sleeves with Ticketmaster tickets in it, basically, of every like First Ave and
There you go.
Triple Rock.
So maybe you could do it.
There you go.
Find that dusty box.
Ooh. Easy.
Well,
Anyways,
what is this? What is this podcast we do?
why don't you take a swing at explaining
Oh,
what the
no.
podcast is? We're just swapping roles here.
Oh man, this is the first. I don't even know.
What is this podcast?
Not even sure.
It's First and Last.
yeah, explain it to me.
We take a TV show that
Well,
we
slow down.
probably
A what? What does
show.
TV stand for?
a show. Yeah, a lot of times pre-streaming. So think about that. Pre-internet. No, sometimes. We watch a pilot of a show that we've probably seen very little of most of the time. And even though most of the time they're also kind of prominent, popular shows at one point, like Knight Rider. And then we discuss, and we decide what's going to happen in the end. And then we watch only the series finale. We'll edit that part out.
We'll chop it up.
And then we're totally wrong. But
We're usually wrong.
what we think.
Yeah.
Make some predictions.
You think after watching this many shows, you'd have a feel for where shows go, but you really don't.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, how many have you? I feel like you need to keep track of how many you get right.
Yeah, we do. And then we have every 25 episodes, we have a first and lasties, and we tally up our points to see who wins. I think I'm the reigning champion.
A total of 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hit percentage is pretty low.
It's real bad. This season, I feel like especially, we've been nowhere near what's happening. But we haven't done as many, there's certain ones, we start to figure out, like sitcoms have their thing, and all the different procedurals, they all have their kind of their niche thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like you gotta at some point get to, like you said, like every sitcom. Yep, this is how it's gonna go. Has there been shows where you're just like completely blown away? Be like, I did not expect that at all.
I feel like yes. For sure. Well, we watched was it a spooky month show? The Tales of the Crypt, where the last episode was just suddenly all animated for no reason. So there's some wild cards like that.
Took a turn. It took a turn.
Good times.
So this week, is it
It was Bruce Willis the whole time.
are we giving the guest the honors of picking the show?
Yeah, well, he already did.
Ew.
So I knew that Josh was going to be gone a while ago, and we were talking, and so well, yeah, you know which one we're doing?
Yes, I think so. The one that I picked. Yeah, I think I remember.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we were.
remember.
Yeah, Jimmy reached out and just mentioned that Josh was gone, and he was like, we've asked 15 other people. Everyone's out of town. Wondering if you could jump in. So I was like,
Accurate.
All right,
Accurate.
that's fine. But it was kind of thinking about what shows that I hadn't seen, because I think the 3 other times I was here were either shows that if I hadn't watched all the way through, I knew pretty well. So I think, like you said, I think Boy Meets World was one. And then the other one was, I think, Step by Step. And so I knew those. And then Derek, I think I brought 2 because I was like, I love this show, so I want you guys to watch it and kind of guess what's going on. But I was just kind of thinking of shows, and obviously with you guys doing so many, I'm like, what are some that happen? And I was laying in bed, super drunk, getting the spinnies. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so with that, I just thought Spin City could be interesting. I thought, I remember hearing that this had a pretty big following for a while. I think there's some pretty big names in it. So, with today's political climate, I just thought Spin City would be. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I thought it'd be kind of a fun watch, even though we're watching. We'll talk about the first and last episode. Like you said, I know we're sitting and we're gonna watch the whole series. But no, yeah, I just thought it'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, that's a show I'm familiar with, but like I kind of forget about. I feel like Josh mentions it a lot, although he actually means "just shoot me,"
Yep. I've also been known to do that.
which like those shows aren't related and they don't share actors or anything.
No.
They're just of the same era. I
They've
guess.
yeah, they're probably on at the same
It's one of
time,
those I
different
feel like a lot
networks.
of people have like seen parts of flipping through channels, and you're like, oh, this is what this is. Okay, what
Yeah.
else is on?
Yeah.
What's even worse about that when I do it is that I like remember watching Just Shoot Me like a bunch and liking it, and I don't think I've
that
probably
the David
seen
Spade?
a couple episodes. Yeah.
Okay.
And it did not hold up. But but I should know that that is called Just Shoot Me and not Spin City.
But like Spin City is the one where like it's like Michael J. Fox is the mayor, and that's why it's Spin City, because it's like they're spinning the
They're
narrative
spinning. Yep.
of what's going on in the city.
You know, that makes complete sense. I just like clicked. I'm like, I never got why it was Spin City. I thought maybe the city they were in, the nickname was.
Just like very into biking.
Yeah, super into cycling. Just
Very bikeable city.
Just Portland is where this is.
completely flat.
yeah, I just filmed on the green line here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minneapolis. Okay. Cool.
But yeah, I don't really remember anything else. I don't really want to look up much else either.
Here's what the little
I
that
thought
I
was
know.
Heather Locklear in this too.
Oh,
That sounds right.
yeah. that does sound
Michael J. Fox, I think, was the one that I knew of. And being a big Back to the Future guy, I was like, yeah, I'll definitely
Right.
like him. But yeah, is Heather? Yeah, you can run it down. You run it down.
Well, so it went from 96 to 02, which is actually a little later than I assumed it went. 145 episodes, so that's 6 seasons. I don't know. Yeah, Michael J. Fox,
Good
Heather
description.
Locklear, Richard Kind, who's just in everything.
Oh yeah. Was he in Just Shoot Me? Maybe not.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
Actually, yeah, there's a lot of big names. I kind of don't want to say. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
we'll see them.
Ooh, I
I'm
like
excited
that.
to see some familiar faces. So where do we think it starts? Do we think it's like the new mayor's first day on the job, or do you think he's like
a campaign
already
trail?
been mayor for a while?
Yeah, I think that's a good guess. I think it's either like if he's mayor, I'm going off of you saying you think Michael J. Fox is the mayor or in the mayoral office, because I don't know if he was the mayor or if he just worked. Like maybe he's like the publicist.
Oh, okay.
at Spin
Yeah,
City.
is he
That's a good
spinning?
Yeah.
he the one
he's-
spinning?
Yeah, he's the one leading Soul Cycle classes. But yeah, I think it's either first day on the job, like just elected, or the publicist like first day. Like whoever was chief of staff or whatever got fired because they didn't spin enough, you know. But that'd be my guess. So
What city do we think this is?
Spin City.
yeah.
Like it's got to be like a mid-range city, right? Like not too big, because like, you know,
That's a
like
good
mayor
point.
of New York is overdone, but
Yeah, I feel like it's got to be like a California. I feel like it's got to be somewhere where the weather is decent.
I'm gonna go East Coast.
San Fran. Okay.
I'm gonna go East Coast.
All right.
I won't say like New York, but I could see like a
New York would be
Philly
Okay.
or Baltimore. For some reason,
Boston.
Baltimore is very popular
Ooh.
for shows.
The Wire.
That's the one show.
I was kind of feeling like Midwest or something. Like maybe he's like the mayor
Okay.
of Cleveland.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Like just like maybe a city that doesn't get a whole lot of love and people don't know a whole lot about, so they can just kind of make up stuff about it.
That's a good.
Make up a bunch of Cleveland facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's Pawnee and it's a prequel
Oh
to
man,
Parks and Rec. But
you could be so lucky.
I like
Hey, quick, just totally random. Did you guys watch Ted Danson's show this last year, Mr. Mayor? I assume it was canceled.
I've not, but
Um,
I assume it's
pretty
good 'cause
fun.
It's like a
Pretty fun.
yeah,
It's basically like New Place character. What's his?
good place.
Good Place.
It's a good place. What's his character in that?
I
Um,
forget
is
his
it
name.
just like Michael?
Ooh,
Maybe,
yeah,
yeah.
that's it.
I was like, Michael Schur? That can't be right.
I think it is.
Probably, I
Michael,
think it is.
Yep.
And like you watching it, I assume like Michael Schur had something to do with it, just because it's that exact same kind of comedy. It was great, but it aired during the pandemic, so I don't think it was probably set up for.
We're too
success,
busy
but-
with Tiger King.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a prime time to release
That's a
TV
good
shows,
point.
though.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they could skirt around like
should have
production or
been.
whatever.
Bobby Moynihan was in it.
I like that guy.
Rachel Dratch was in it. Anyway,
I'll check it out. If it's over,
Yeah,
maybe
sold.
it's probably all. On
if it's over,
Hulu.
we'll watch it on this pod, I'm sure.
Yeah. See you next week.
Any last predicts for things that may happen in this first episode?
I want some. This is totally just kind of stealing from West Wing, but I want it to be like campaign trail, like a little bit, maybe some time jumping, like we go back in time and see some campaign trail, and we skip ahead to present day, and we get the team together, we get the band together. Rob Lowe is there.
Cool.
Wait, did you just spoil who's in it?
I wish Rob Lowe was in this.
I think my predict is that there's some sort of silly, like low stakes scandal that they're trying to cover up. It's like they find out Michael J. Fox, the mayor, like was. I'm trying to think of something 90s though, that wouldn't be dated, or 80s. Like he was really into Milli Vanilli, and like had posters up in his room.
Oh no!
When he was like a teenager, and that's what they're trying to cover up.
Sad.
But people think it's like an affair or something, but that it was really just his childhood obsession.
Okay. All right. I'm into it.
I think the one prediction I think I'll start is I think that we'll see if he's a mayor or whatever, like because I think Michael J. Fox is like the main guy.
Oh, for
But
sure.
his first day, he's going to come in and the staff is going to be tenured, and he's going to see a bunch of like old habits that are hijinks, and they're like, oh, we need to change that. And so it's going to be all these different kooky
Okay.
habits, and they're like, no wonder this city is
A lot of sexual
needs to be-
harassment.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It's 96. It was a crazy time.
Ooh.
Like fast and loose.
A lot of uncomfortable water cooler talk. Ooh. Too real. I'm gonna double down on West Wing, and I'm gonna think. So if he's not the mayor, but he's the spin guy, we don't see the mayor at all until the final
Season?
seconds of the show.
Oh.
That's what the
Oh.
pilot of the West Wing is. You don't see the
I
president
do
until
remember that. That
the
was
last
pretty cool.
5 minutes, and it's amazing.
So this
mind
shows-
blowing.
It would be pretty great if this show is just a like comedy version of The West Wing.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Yeah.
Well, I literally was just thinking, like, I'm 99% sure this is a comedy, but I'd love if I was completely wrong. And this is like a super dramatic show.
Very serious.
And at the end, Michael J. Fox is like, I am fucking Spin City. We're just like, oh my God. Just like, wait, can we swear? Did I just get bleeped out and canceled in this podcast?
Welcome to Sit and Spin City.
Yeah.
All right,
You're
cool.
living in Spin City, bitch.
Yeah. And then just like, we're like, oh my God. I need to watch the whole series. Yeah.
All right, let's watch this first episode. That is called Pilot. We'll see you when we get back.
And we're back from the first episode of Spin City, entitled Prototype.
It was?
I was going to say, what?
I mean, that's what it says on Wikipedia. Did we say
Does it
earlier?
actually?
Oh,
IMDb calls it Pilot.
you know, the fact that I thought it was called Pilot, my views have changed dramatically. It's called Prototype.
I thought you
Prototype?
were just messing with us.
Prototype must be just like another word for pilot, because prototype doesn't have anything to do with this episode.
No, not at all.
Okay. Am I on just like British Wikipedia or something? Yeah, it's the pilot. There's no real title.
Okay.
Okay. You got it right up?
Yeah, I did. You really threw me with that. Okay. Mike Flaherty has to juggle the interests of his conservative mayor boss and a gay activist whom the mayor has unwittingly insulted. At home, Mike has to deal with his reporter girlfriend Ashley when it finally dawns on him that she doesn't just sleep over, but that she actually lives with him. To appease both Carter by having his voice heard and the mayor by correcting his gaffe, Mike hires Carter as the new consultant of minority affairs. I don't know that we technically knew some of those details.
Yeah, we just knew he had a job. Mhm.
I was like, the explanation that you just read made it seem like it was an hour TV show.
Yeah.
It just deep dove into a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
And it did not.
More glossed over a lot of stuff in a silly manner that doesn't play quite so well in 2022. Classic.
I think the first thing I want to touch on is that we were talking before the show started about how, like, I was pretty sure he's the mayor and you guys were like not so sure, but like pretty sure it surrounds like a mayor's office. And the first bit is they're like managing this, or at least managing the communications around this garbage worker strike. And Michael J. Fox is kind of running the room, and then he says something like, and you know who they're going to blame for this? And then like the actual mayor walks in and like says something.
Huge twist.
Yeah. So it seems like you're supposed to think that he's the mayor, and then he's actually not.
Right. For about 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Pull the old
Which is great.
switch.
Yeah. A cool way to like start the show.
Yeah. I was into it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was good. Yeah. Again, you reading the description. Did you get that? Did we get no?
Yeah.
All
of it.
All right,
All
good.
of it.
Reading the description, like I said, it seemed like a lot, but I don't know if normal pilots are like that. I mean, you guys are the but I feel like they packed a lot into this 30 minutes that maybe like, they obviously in the description touched on insulting like so basically they asked the mayor. So this team is like, we kind of called it kind of the spinsters, like his media team.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed he was doing an interview because of this like garbage strike.
Mm-hmm.
And then just off the cuff, someone asked if he was going to attend the gay pride parade. And I forgot his response. Am I drunk?
He said, "What are you drunk?"
Oh yeah, are you drunk? Yeah. So right as they thought they cleared the way, and they're like, "Oh, sweet, we spun it, and things are good." It's one of those like skirt moments, and
yeah.
But that was like a whole 5 minutes, and then the gay right activist was in the show for a total of like maybe 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. And he got in his whole interview and being hired was a 30-second thing, and I don't know, it just seemed like a weird way to get a character into the show, and to say right away that he was going to be a gay character, which again, maybe in 96, 97 is probably a big deal. I don't know when like Will and Grace kind of broke that, or the Ellen Show when that kind of was a big deal, but yeah, it just kind of seemed like a weird. Yeah, packed a lot in, but I guess that's kind of what pilots do, is just here's what we're dealing with, here's what our characters are, and here you go.
Because you get some of what's going on in the mayor's office, and then you get some of what's going on in Michael J. Fox's personal life, and like both of those are going through like change situations.
Classic.
There's a lot of prototypes in it.
Yeah. No wonder they called it the prototype.
Yeah.
And I do want to say too, so you can't gloss over in the staff. Sorry, hold on.
Get that buzz.
Yeah.
Okay. In the staff is a guy named James, who is like seems like he's like one of the actual like staff writers, and he's written the responses for the mayor for the trash strike. And, while he's on camera, he's like, this is what they're watching. This guy, James's written responses. And then they're all like, yes, we did it. And then he says the derogatory stuff. So then they're like, what's his name? What's his character's name? So Cameron, Alan Ruck, plays a guy named Stuart in The Office. And his bit is that he's apparently going after Mike's job. He thinks he can do Michael J. Fox's job. There was like a one-line thing that was like, oh, okay, this is going to be your bit, is that I know I know how to do your job. And so he's like, if we had a gay person in the office, to Mike, and Mike's like, everybody, I need a gay.
Yeah.
Essentially. And he's like, James, you're gay, right? And he's like, no. And he's like, you are now. It's like, that is so problematic.
Yeah. Essentially, the ploy is to like wash over this, public, I'm trying to find a word that's better than like guffaw, but like guffaw is the
Right.
best like word I can think of. But to like show that the mayor is not homophobic, it's like they'll just trot out someone who works for the mayor who's gay, and if we can't find someone, we'll just pretend someone's gay.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Again, it is crazy to think though. We understand why it's problematic now in 20. But again, you got to look at if it's 1996, 97, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I will kind of give him credit, be like, all right, right away, boom, here's a gay character. And again, it took a long way to get there, and a lot of like,
I was real
real
worried.
cringe moments of, okay.
I was real worried that the plot was going to go in a direction of they're going to out a gay character, forcibly out a gay character.
Yeah.
That could have easily been.
Thankfully, it didn't go there.
But again, the fact that they introduced a character that I think stays in the whole, I believe the whole series, because when this actor popped up, like he was doing like a press thing saying "How dare the mayor," things like that. Again, the only thing I knew of this show was Michael J. Fox. It's political humor, but his face, I was like, I recognize him from like posters and things like that of Spin City. So I'm like, he's got to be in it.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, when he popped up, I'm like, oh, they are going to hire him for sure. And that's what it is. And so, but to make sure, like, again, like you said, they didn't out anyone forcibly. And it's not like a big reveal later on the show. It's just nope, this guy's gay. He's now part of our staff. Boom, we have an openly gay character on the show, and it's 1996. So.
Yeah, it's something.
Yeah.
Michael Boatman is that guy's name. I swear I've know him from something else. Maybe it's just this.
The man of boats.
True.
Man of many boats. There's also Connie Britton is also in this show, which is outrageous.
Yeah, I didn't recognize her.
Friday Night Lights and Nashville and all of the shows.
Yeah.
What was the what's the spooky one? The anthology. She's
American
in the
Horror
first
Story.
season.
Oh, American Horror
She's in the
Story.
first season of that.
I thought you meant like the character. I was like, what's the spooky one? I'm like, I don't remember a
spooky
character out there.
Spooky
The
office.
spooky Spin City. That yeah.
But yeah.
That was Richard Kind.
Yeah.
He's
yeah. Go ahead.
he's the comedic relief of this comedy.
Yeah, everyone's just kind of bagging on him and like doesn't really want to hang out with him.
I was gonna say, I feel like he's gonna be the punchline of a lot of jokes. Because they even said right away, like, because again, so Richard Kind plays. Am I right saying like chief of staff? Is that what it does? Like the chief of staff.
He's
does,
like the press secretary.
Press
I
secretary.
think.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, I knew I was wrong, but press secretary. Yeah. So it's the one that's like out there doing it. So right away when they're talking about this like trash thing and how to spin that story, it was always like, all right, if we tell them the truth, you got to put $1 in the truth jar or something like. So I have a feeling that's going to be like a common running theme of, all right, don't tell the person that actually talks to the press the truth because he's going to let it slip. Things like that. Because it even calls out in his first press conference when he's like, yep, it'll be cleaned up tomorrow. And then later we find out who is Mike's, who is played by Michael J. Fox. So that's going to be easy to remember. Girlfriend is also like the press. So like Jimmy read his reporter girlfriend goes, well, I heard, and this is, I sound exactly like her. I heard that it's going to be weeks. And so you could just tell he, does that slow turn over to Michael J. Fox's character. And I think we're going to see a lot of that. I think he's going to be the butt end of the joke.
Oh, that's what she's from. I thought she was. Well, she's in a lot of things.
Carla Gugino?
Yeah.
Oh, she's in a lot of stuff.
She's in so much, but she's in Sin City. She's really great. She's in The Watchmen. I swear, I want to believe that she's in West Wing, but I think I'm thinking of someone else who plays Bradley Whitford's like on off again.
Yeah, that's someone else. It's not Carla Gugino.
Okay. All right. Someone similar.
Yeah.
I think Carla last night, The Haunting, that Netflix show.
Oh, yeah.
She was the
Is
mom.
that done yet? Haunting of Hill House?
They're doing kind of like an anthology type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So it's gonna be. I think it's similar, like the same actors or or at least 80%.
Mm-hmm.
But they've only done like 2,
Okay.
and I don't know if she was on the second one or not. But
Yeah, but yeah, her character is kind of the crux of the B plot that her and Michael J. Fox have been dating for like a year and a half. She spends a lot of time at his place, so she just went up and like didn't renew her lease, as you do.
I mean, I feel like a lot of that's got to be on Michael, though. If he didn't notice that, like, all of her stuff is in his place.
well, yeah, that
Just
was
all of it.
That was the whole joke. She's like, "Oh, that couch again." My impersonation is like spot on. Oh, that couch, mine. Oh, you didn't notice the picture of my parents? And he's like, "Oh, I thought it came with the frame." You know, so
Yeah.
just the classic afraid of commitment.
Nice.
Classic guys.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's pretty funny.
Nice.
But yeah, so and there's kind of a classic sitcom plot there of she's trying to get him to commit and he's unsure about it, but he kind of comes around in the end. By suggesting that they get a new place together.
Smart.
Mm-hmm.
And he should, because it's Carla Gugino.
Yeah.
Ugh, lock it down.
Yeah.
Lock it down.
But you can kind of see where that, is going to be an interesting relationship with the romantic relationship and their day jobs of being kind of adversarial. There's opportunity there for sure.
Yep. Also, totally a West Wing thing, which is after, which is after this. I'm realizing.
Yeah.
So they
Wait,
Aaron
did
Sorkin,
West Wing copy Spin City?
Aaron Sorkin.
Wait, West Wing
totally
was after
stole.
this? Oh,
I'm
man.
pretty sure.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, 99.
Oh wow. Because there's one part where I thought that they were making a deliberate West Wing reference where it's actually Michael and Ashley are talking, or she's like, "Let's talk," and like they go for a walk and like
They do a walk and talk.
Well, it's just like they just go to the next room, and he's just like, "Oh, I thought that was gonna be longer." He's like, I didn't have time to gather my thoughts. Like, and I thought that was like a West Wing reference with a walk and talk.
So basically, the creators were like, "Hey, let's watch some Spin City," and they're like, "Oh my, what if this was dramatic?"
Yeah,
Exactly what we talked about.
What if it was a longer walk? Fantastic.
Side note: it is in New York City, so
That seemed clear as they went along, but also insane that that'd be a much bigger room of people. I feel like,
that's kind of how I felt.
and
is
a mayor
like,
that's not well.
yeah, that's what I
take it
thought
back.
too. It was like, all right, if it was the mayor of New York City, he's got to have more than like 6 people on his staff.
Right.
But it's the 90s; they're crazy.
And the mayor character here is like pretty, like I don't know, how would you describe him? Just pretty oblivious.
Yeah. Just
That's a good way to put it.
straight up bad at his job. Which is interesting.
I also feel like it's a very stereotypical sitcom mayor politician. Just one where it's like clearly has no clue. Like he
doesn't
really
really do
depends on his
anything.
staff. Yeah.
Yep.
But-
Yep. He's just the face.
Because in real life, politicians get stuff done on their own.
Yeah,
So
it's all just one man.
Anyway,
this is why you brought me on, right?
oh crap! What have I done? That guy, by the way, is Barry Bostwick, and I think he's in a lot of things, but I think I swear he's like, is he like Elaine's boss or something? I swear he's got a part in Seinfeld or something like that.
There's a lot of people in this show that I feel like are in a ton of other shows, but aren't the headliner. If that makes sense. Like they're never like, this is Michael J.
Richard
Fox's
Kind.
show, but obviously, there's multiple characters. But you think of this as like a Michael J. Fox show. But yeah, you look at like the cast list and it's like, all right, this person is in this and is in this and is in this, but he's not like the main guy.
You will
or main gal.
recognize. I mean, I assume that the listeners watched this with us, so I'm sure you're with us when that you recognized a lot of these people.
I mean, I feel like the biggest one is Alan Ruck, just because Ferris Bueller coming
Yeah.
out beforehand, or was a pretty popular movie. So I think he might have had the.
That's a get. Is that pre-Twister? Man, I could watch Twister right now. Anyway,
Is that what's next? It's just the first 10 minutes of a movie and then the last 10 minutes of a movie?
yeah, that's our other podcast. Yeah. It's still in production. Pre-production. So the only other thing I have is that the creators are Gary David Goldberg, who created Family Ties. So he knows Michael J. That's the connection there. And then Bill Lawrence, who does everything. He was the Scrubs executive producer, Cougar Town. He's now the Ted Lasso executive producer. He's got a lot of big credits.
That was a name that I recognized.
The hits.
Cool. So I guess before we go into predictions, one thing we were kind of talking about mid-show is that the towards the end here, it actually switches where Michael J. Fox is no longer a part of the show. And it's actually Charlie Sheen.
Oh, right.
And we'll talk more about that after we watch this episode, but I guess we just wanted to touch on that a little bit because we're aware
That's
of it.
important info.
And I was just looking through the Wikipedia, and Michael J. Fox was nominated for an Emmy for this show 3 times and never won, and then Charlie Sheen came on and was nominated and won.
No way.
Really?
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
bullshit. I'm pissed for you, Michael J.
know.
Fox.
Maybe he's gonna be hilarious, but yeah, so that's something to
There's
look forward
no
to.
way. There's no way.
I assume he plays a completely different character, but just
Yeah.
he's now the guy.
I'm now
He's just
interested
the
to see
2.5
who the
men guy.
nominations were when Michael J. was nominated.
Yeah, how did you lose?
And then when Charlie Sheen was nominated, all right, who did they beat?
I had that just a second ago.
That's a good
Let's
point.
see if I still have it.
That's a good point. I
One of them
hate
was
it already.
Frasier, which is tough.
Okay.
And then the other 2 were John Lithgow from Third Rock.
Yep.
So also tough to beat.
They won a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yep.
But who is Charlie Sheen win over though?
I don't know.
It would have to
Probably
be
Frasier again, right?
Yeah, it makes me wonder if he was nominated against people that had already won, and they're just like,
Let's
we've
just
already
give it to
given
him.
him.
we can't give it to
Yeah.
Lithgow a third time in a row.
Yeah. But you could.
You always can.
I just can't imagine that his character. I can't imagine that he's a step up from Michael J. Fox in this show at all.
No, there's no way.
I'm just straight up envisioning 2.5 Men, and maybe that's on me. But even before that, he's not a funny. He's never that funny. He got big in the National Lampoon's movies, where you're just kind of the straight man where weird things happen around you and it's funny,
Man, we might need to go back and delete that part of the pod because looking back at this now, it was Michael J. Fox that was nominated all 4 times, and he won that last time. I just read that wrong.
Let's take away everything we ragged on Charlie. Charlie Sheen probably stepped in and did a good job. I mean, it'd be hard to replace Emmy winner Michael J. Fox.
That makes me
Michael J.
so
Fox,
happy.
He won in 2000. Finally beating out Kelsey Grammer and John Lithgow.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
So I take back anything. Charlie Sheen, he had big shoes to fill, So
had it come out when he won, this is terrible, but when he won, had it come out that he had Parkinson's the whole time?
I don't know. I gotta deep dive into the Michael J. Fox.
So
Wikipedia.
yeah, why don't you Google all
So-
this beforehand?
He mentioned a few seasons in that he had actually been diagnosed with Parkinson's 7 years before that.
Oh wow.
So I think this started in 96. I think it was in 98 or 99. He finally publicly came out.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeffy, you said you noticed he had some of his.
Well, and I don't know if I noticed it because like I've like Back to the Future is like one of my favorite films, so I'm just gonna keep tabs with Michael J. Fox, and so you can kind of tell. I was kind of showing for the listeners out there, he does like kind of just a shoulder shrug is one of his big ones.
Yeah,
and I thought
that he's been doing since like
and
Back to the Future,
he's been doing it for a long like that. I don't know if that was one of his first ticks that came through, but I thought you could kind of tell like when the first scene when he comes into the office talking about this garbage strike. He did a few of those shoulder shrugs, as well as you can kind of tell he was like rubbing his eyebrow and things. Just some stuff I feel like they usually tell actors and actresses, things like that don't do it because you don't want to cover your face. You know, so him just kind of picking on his eyebrow or like rubbing his
distracting,
chin. Yeah, so it's one of those where if you don't know he has Parkinson's, you might not pick up and you just think it's a character thing.
He does,
which makes sense for like a nervous Marty McFly, right?
Yeah. Or if you're in charge of the mayoral office, you know, publicity, whatever. But yeah, knowing he has Parkinson's now and knowing like some of the tics that he has, that's why I thought I'm like, ooh, he might start. And I feel like he quote unquote retired from acting shortly after. But like you said, if he may have ended the show,
I assume
and
that
then
that's
did
why
just like
Charlie
voice
Sheen
work
is.
because I know he did a ton of like cartoon stuff, like because I think he did like Treasure Planet or something like that for Disney, which was a big one, and then some other voice
Never
acting.
saw that one.
But oh well,
I hear it's great.
you're right. You did hear
You're perfectly right. Charlie Sheen won a Golden Globe for Spin City.
Good
so
for him.
just trying to
It's no Emmy. I know
fact
that
check
much.
myself later on. You know,
He won something.
yeah,
There you go. You got it.
he's a winner for sure. Winning. You
Oh,
guys remember winning? Tiger Blood.
maybe that's why he said it because he's like, I'm a Golden Globe winner, losers. So
Yeah.
That was the best part of his career. That was the most entertaining part. When he went totally batshit insane.
yeah,
When he lost his mind.
Live on TV. Was it live?
I think it was
Yeah.
like live on Twitter. It was early, early Twitter.
He live tweeted about it.
Okay. Should we get some Charlie Sheen going? But before we do, let's go over our predictions for the final episode.
right.
I'll go first. I'm aware that Michael J. Fox's character is not a major part of the end here, but I think that they write him off because he becomes president. Oh, that's my prediction.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he gets a promotion. I think the gang does end up going to Houlihan's. There's a joke in the first episode about the whole like workplace going to Houlihan's, and Richard Kind, I forget his name, Paul or something, goes over there thinking that like everyone's gonna be there, but they're really not going there
That's
for
just
happy
where
hour.
they tell him.
Yeah.
Poor Paul.
Paul.
Yeah. And so I think, like, I guess I assume, I mean, even Michael J. Fox wasn't the mayor of New York in this episode. I'm assuming that Charlie Sheen is the mayor of New York in this episode, or in this finale. But I think by the end, a like minor character becomes the mayor of New York. Just like some intern or something becomes the mayor.
James.
James.
They finally do right by James.
Mayor James. And then my last one, I think that someone orders a pizza because it's New York and they're trying to get some of that.
There was pizza
New
in
York
the
pizza.
episode.
There was.
There
yeah.
was?
Man, maybe that's like their thing, that there's always pizza in every
It's
episode.
worked in.
Mm-hmm.
I did not even notice that. Who ate pizza?
It was when like they were like staying at the office
Yeah.
at the end.
Okay. Were there turtles involved?
No,
No.
not this time.
It looked like it was from Sbarro though.
Authentic.
Yeah.
The authentic
Food
New
court.
York. Yeah.
What do you got, Jeffy?
Right. I kind of did my predictions as like what's gonna happen. And I just had my predictions. Oh, here they go. So my guess, and three of them are, I feel like are semi-similar, but very. So my first one is just probably the broadest. Is I think the last episode. It's going to be the last day in office. Like the mayor
Cleaning out.
is like done. His terms are up, and he's just like, let's party and say goodbyes. And so it could be a sentimental episode, but like
Clip show.
yeah, clip show to end the series. But there's that. I think Michael J. Fox's Michael comes back for one goodbye. I think it's kind of, and I'm sure at the time they may have kept it like under wraps, like he's not coming back, and then a big deal.
That'd be crazy.
I'm gonna tear up over here.
I feel like some of my predictions counter or are
That's
against others, but I also think the final night, similar to Final Days, it could be like an election night. And so they're consistently watching, and it's either up for re-election or it's done, and there's that.
Okay.
And then I think the final scenes, I do think Mike comes back, and I think right as everyone thinks it's going to be the end or something like that, the last closing seconds we hear of another scandal that they have to spin. And so they're brainstorming, and then you just see Michael J. Fox's character walk in the back like, oh, life goes on without me. As they're continuing to spin their city.
I like
So
that.
it's like same old bullshit.
Yep.
Walks out,
This is why I
slinks
got
out the
out
back.
of this business.
I like it.
I'm going to go
I
back
like
to
it.
being president.
That would be great. I just have a
Some
feeling.
presidenting to do.
Yeah, I got to be the president.
Yeah, he slinks out somehow without his security. Okay, so number one, I also have. I have specifically that we got a new mayor, new mayor in town, and maybe the staff are staying, like getting hired by this new guy. Maybe some of them are not. But number one, I have new mayor. Number two, that they're still spinning the same old shit with this new mayor. It's like still putting basically a new Barry Bostwick, like just guy putting his foot in his mouth.
Same episode in
Worried
02
about
of
just
I'm
the
not going to the
exact-
Pride Parade.
Just the exact same. Just an idiot. Then my number three is that I think they tell Paul the truth. So maybe that's an invite to Houlihan's.
Yeah, maybe
nice
they
to 'em.
go to Houlihan's for real.
Which are you guys aware of like the actual restaurant chain Houlihan's? Is that
kind
what
of
they're
like
talking about?
It's like a fancy Bennigan's, right?
Yeah. or any of those.
Yeah.
Applebee's. Yeah, I totally worked at one for like a year.
I mean, I'm sure there's 1,000 Irish pubs probably called Houlihan's.
yeah, true. There used to be
Or is that
Houlihan's
a
in town
Callahan?
here, but I think that's one of the hands.
Moynihan's.
O'Callahan.
Callahan.
That's nothing. Okay, then my number four is that I think they finally they spend the kitty. They spend the jar of money.
Oh, did they
For
call it the
tonight.
kitty?
That's what Mike
Oh,
kept
I
calling
missed that.
it.
I was like, what
put
the
it in the
hell
kitty,
is-
which is like that's like a very old, like outdated saying. I feel like people don't say that anymore.
I was gonna say, what the hell is the kitty? And
It's
why
like
are they
I feel like
spending the
it's
kitty?
I feel like it's like the ante, like I don't know, the pot, the
they
kitty.
they didn't call it
I think
piggy
I feel like
banks
it's a
in the
gambling
90s?
term. I'm gonna Google it.
All right, yeah, figure that out.
It was before they had piggy banks. They had kitty banks.
Yeah, you do your research. Come back
They're
to me.
kittens.
Figure that out.
More like Spin Kitty.
Oh shit! Oh my god!
Wonderful. This last episode is called "A Friend in Need."
Oh shit!
April 30th, 2002, and there was 2 episodes that day, but they're not like a 2-parter. They seem like they're standalone.
Okay.
Gotcha. I'm waiting for the date, and I know "quote unquote" Friends kind of did it, calling the last one because all their episodes are like the one with whatever. But I want a show that begins with the pilot, and then the end being like the finale, but not like the finale because I think a lot of shows are.
The end.
But yeah, like the stewardess. Or the what's the who are the flight crew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like
The
you want the
passengers.
pilot. You want the pilot episode to actually be about like a pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, I want the show Jag all over again.
Yeah.
Anyways,
watch
let's watch the second episode. Hey, I'm glad to be back, everyone.
A Friend in Need.
Yeah.
We'll see you in a minute.
And we're back from the finale of Spin City. entitled "A Friend in Need." Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All done.
Just going based off of memory.
2002. So the write-up we have by KGF Vissers. Now that Charlie and Caitlin have finally embraced being a couple, it's torture to have to hide their relationship, and even more so when they're in the mayor's office. Randall wines and dines equally spoiled Governor Riley, leaving Charlie and Caitlin to make his vain promises work. They fear exposure when the security videos must solve the disappearance of the $100,000 celebrity spectacles the mayor bought for his wife. They're sunglasses. I don't know why they had to say spectacles. That's outrageous. Carter is tickled pink with his first foster son, but can't stop his crying until Paul offers to help. So all that to say, Carter adopted a kid. Charlie and Caitlin are just talking about sex for 30 minutes, and then they finally do it in the mayor's office.
Mm-hmm.
And the governor's there and involved.
Yeah. That's it.
The end.
That
And
is-
canceled.
Yeah. Well, like the big thing is that the main two are going public with their relationship.
Yes. So Charlie, so it's Charlie Sheen, which I know we talked about, and Heather Locklear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of at least replaced what we thought, if you watched the first episode, of Michael J. Fox and Carla, again, Gugino, something like that.
Yep.
So yeah, clearly,
Literally
like,
seems like it's the same relationship. They're just doing over this weird office relationship.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. So there's a Wikipedia section for this show that's interesting called Later Years, where in 98 Michael J. Fox announced that he had Parkinson's disease, and so as a result they hired Heather Locklear on then with him to lighten his load, so he literally just had less scenes. And then when it got worse, he left
He stepped
and
away.
they replaced him.
Gotcha. I mean, that makes sense.
And then it got canceled.
I was
Because obviously.
that had to have been, honestly, like, when you watch this episode, it felt like a normal episode, which again leads me to believe, if I didn't know anything about it, I'd be like, the show is canceled. Like, it's almost like they added, so at the very end of the episode, Charlie Sheen and Heather Locklear's character are walking through a West Wing style walkthrough. And then you see, I don't know what you say, his character's name's Carter, who's the gay character, with his new baby. The press secretary walks by with the sunglasses, so a little laugh there. But that walk felt like, all right, here's this character and what's next for them. Here's this character, what's next for them. And then they kind of had like a slow motion holding hands. So I'm like, that seemed like we're done. But watching the whole episode, I would have been like, this for sure got canceled because they're doing nothing. Like, for a show that's been on for 6 years, they're doing nothing to wrap up. They're doing nothing to do this. It seemed very...
Yeah.
It didn't even seem like a season finale to me. It seemed like a middle of the road until the very end. So, yeah. If you wouldn't have told me anything, I would have guessed that show was canceled.
Yeah, it wasn't like somebody was leaving or like it's the end of
There's no fanfare.
something.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, you're right. It was almost just like a middle of the season episode, except for those like hallway things, which
Yeah, right at
you
the
could
end.
argue that's like could be season finale type stuff, but
Yeah, kind of like a just in case. In case it's the last time you see these characters.
Yeah, it felt like almost like a like they brought
yeah.
everyone back like 2 weeks later and be like, hey, we're done here.
Yeah, we're
So,
probably done.
be like,
I wonder if that is a thing. If shows at the end of a season are like, well, just in case, like let's get some stuff in the can, because you
it'd be
never
a terrible
know.
way to like shoot a show. Be like, all right, well, this could be by. So
Yeah.
see ya.
You just shoot a bunch of death scenes in case you need to like kill a character off.
Every show should shoot death scenes before they even start.
Yeah, just
'Cause
in case
you
we
don't
don't
need to know.
Yeah, in case we don't renew your contract.
I was
Like,
gonna say that actually would be really funny.
Yeah.
You shoot a death scene for every character, and then you don't tell the actors who
who's
they're going to
coming
keep
back?
in the editing, and then all of a sudden the actor finds out watching the season finale, be like, "Oh, I just got fired, so that's great." That's,
Yeah,
I think that's genius. Because if you think about it, like, you don't need to know anything about like who the character is for them to die. You know, you can you can film a 30-second shot of you dying that they could work in eventually somehow. You know,
yeah, yeah.
I love it. Solved all of Hollywood's problems.
But
so what'd you think? I mean, did it hold up to the first episode?
it was very. I think watching the first episode, to me, again, it's one of those. It felt like a pilot, as in like they jam a lot of stuff in, a lot of introductions of like, here's our character, so it makes sense. But I was intrigued, and I'm like, it seems like a cheesy 90s laugh track, 30-minute comedy, and I'm like,
Yep.
I could watch, like, this is something I could put on the background and watch. And I'll be honest, watching the season finale, I don't know if it just seemed knowing what we know about Charlie Sheen, yeah, the whole episode they just talk about sex.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, he just is coming off very creepy. And it's not the, like, I think they tried to play the, like, oh, haha, boys will be boys, quote unquote. Always, like, talking about sex, things like that. It just seemed really creepy.
It's a different vibe, for
It was
sure.
a different vibe. Unlike, I think even Michael J. Fox kind of jokingly played about having sex in the beginning, things like that. Even like,
Yeah, there was stuff with him.
yeah, like it must have been a very sexually charged show, because
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
with the first and last episode talking about it in both of them. But yeah, it seemed friendlier and seemed
Yes.
more like, even though they were both in relationships, so it's not like a creepy sexual harassment type way, but it was like
something about Charlie.
yeah, it was just
Yeah.
really weird, and it was just almost too much. Like, he was pressing it too hard. So
Yeah, and there's something about Michael J. Fox that when Michael J. Fox is talking about getting it on, you're just like,
yeah,
you're adorable though.
yeah, good for that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How wholesome.
So maybe that's why I got canceled, because maybe that's what the sentiment of everyone
And then
watching was.
well, because then, so 2.5 Men, which is just the extension, like if you take this character and times it by 10, you get 2.5 Men, and it started the next year. This was the next Charlie Sheen show,
Okay.
which is not at all surprising to me.
Yeah.
But like, when you like mentioned that it was going to be Charlie Sheen and not Michael J. Fox, I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, this is getting canceled. Like, there's no way this show ended on a good note.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was definitely a different vibe, and I realized watching that last episode, like, how much I liked Michael J. Fox in the first episode, and how much like that it, because I enjoyed the first episode, but I didn't realize how much of just like the vibe and hanging out was built around even just watching him react to things happening around him.
Yeah.
National treasure.
Yeah.
Well, and again, it makes watching the season finale too. It'd be interesting to watch, and I think that's what this podcast is about: is would we go back through and watch the rest of it? And I think I would early on, because you could tell. We've talked about, they brought in Heather Locklear because Michael J. Fox, was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and he came out with that, and so they hired Heather Locklear to kind of lighten the load, just another big name to give more scenes to, things like that. But I'd be intrigued to watch the Michael J. Fox stuff, and then once he'd be gone, I'd be like, I don't know if I can. But you can tell in this episode, like, the mayor had a lot bigger part.
Yeah.
I don't know the character's name, but the guy that's from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Ruck?
Stewart is the character's name.
Yeah, Alan Ruck is the actor's
Alan
name.
Ruck, or Stewart.
Yeah, there was a
He
wild,
definitely-
is he psychic?
Yeah, he was doing
that a
like
part
psychic
of this
predictions. I mean, you could tell he's maybe just the Office kind of like, quote unquote, oddball.
Yeah.
And that definitely did
He's
not
the
come.
Gabe?
Did not come across in that first episode. And I know obviously characters develop, but it'd be interesting to see how he gets involved. And so it definitely became an ensemble of a cast. When I'm sure the pilot, it was just very much a Michael J. Fox show. But this one, I mean, I was shocked with how much the mayor was a part of this one.
Yeah.
And like talked, and was like almost in every scene. When I would have guessed watching the first episode, the mayor would have been very, very side character and was in only to cause their, public affairs team issues.
Right.
And he became more of like almost a mentor to his whole team.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, kind of just
He
kick off what the
didn't,
plot was.
He didn't do. They didn't spin shit in this show.
yeah, they didn't spin anything.
Where was the spinning?
The
In
city
this
was
city.
already spun.
It had been spun one too many times. They had to change it up.
It was dizzy. But
Yeah.
One thing that surprised me was the mayor is the mayor the whole show.
Yeah.
I totally thought that Michael J. Fox was the mayor in Spin City.
He was never once the mayor.
Yeah, that never was true.
I think I read they made something reference that like he'd gone on to like Washington D.C. to become a lobbyist or something, and that's how they kind of wrote him off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure with this being a political show, yeah, that's an easy write-off. Like,
Yeah.
he got a bigger campaign.
Yeah.
He's now doing
Happens
the
all the time.
governors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It makes me wonder. So this one, like you read in like they brought up the governor quite a bit, and it makes me wonder if it's an actual character that we just didn't see this episode, or if it's like a kind of a home improvement neighbor where it's like, no, that's a bad example because the neighbor's a huge character in that show. But one where you constantly, he's always saying the governor needs this, the governor needs that. And like the unseen governor kind of becomes the mayor from the first episode of, oh, he's causing all this chaos for our team to handle and let's spin our city type thing. So,
Governor Riley, Bob Gunton.
so he was a character.
His character. I'll figure it out.
But yeah, I feel like it's always an interesting vibe when you watch a show and they don't know it's like the last one to be like filmed. So, but
Regis Philbin was in several episodes,
classic Reg.
That's fun.
so got that to look forward to. Alyssa Milano was in several like a handful of episodes.
Dang.
Recurring person. It's not looking like Sam Lloyd, Ted from Scrubs, which that makes sense if the
Bill Lawrence connection.
Bill Lawrence. What did I say his name was? Bob?
But
Yeah, I don't think he was in any more episodes.
yeah,
According
I think
to this.
I feel like my expectations were too high waiting to see a Michael J. Fox
Come back. Oh,
come
yeah.
back, a return.
That would have been so dope. They
blew it.
failed on that.
Those,
Yeah.
those fools. They blew it.
Could have had 6 more seasons.
Like, yeah, if one appearance,
Yeah.
easily 6 more seasons.
ABC is just like, yeah, we'll just give you more.
Yeah,
Have them come back once a year.
once a year.
That's all you need.
Have them
Get
level
that
out,
money.
level out the sheen.
And then you'd be watching Spin City on Netflix
Instead
or
of-
Hulu.
Instead of Pluto.
Instead of Pluto.
Instead of Pluto
But
TV.
hey, you can skip the ads,
Yeah.
so that's you can fast forward.
Pretty sweet.
This is outrageous. Outrageous hack.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, I think the biggest laugh I had for this last episode was, yes, it is very sexually driven, with Heather Locklear and Charlie Sheen talking about sex, and then the whole, no pun intended, climax of the episode is being videotaped while having sex in the mayor's office.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the biggest laugh for me was cut to commercial, and it's these 2 elderly folks being like, "I do it all the time."
We do it
And
every day.
they're talking about running their dishwasher, but yeah, just 2 elderly people being like, "We do it every day," and I'm like, "Oh my god!" They picked the ads
It was
perfectly.
the first ad every time.
Yeah. First off, good for those older couple.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they're talking about
Keep
cleaning
it
dishes.
alive,
What
you know?
again? Good for them.
Also
Clean their
great.
dishes. Yeah.
Why
also
should
good.
the fire die?
Yeah. Good for them for
Pickle
having
Creek.
clean dishes.
It's a great album. I don't know what my dog is doing right now.
She's got thoughts.
She's
You
trying
have
to.
something you want to say about Michael J. Fox? Or Charlie
May
Sheen?
is like Jeff being on his bullshit. I have so many thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm for sure with you. I'd be interested in watching the Michael J stuff,
Mm-hmm.
even when Heather Locklear comes in. See him out.
Yeah. And I thought she came in. Looking at IMDb, what's crazy to think about is, so that first episode made you think that Carly Gugino was going to be in it a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And IMDb credits her for 13 episodes.
Whoa.
I mean, they literally at the end of the first
Oh,
episode
no.
move in together.
Yeah.
And then she's in for
I
13
hate
episodes.
Not even all the first season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just,
They had a falling out.
she got hired for Spin City.
Did she?
Sin City.
Sin City.
Yeah.
She's a lobbyist in Sin City now.
Yeah.
Spin
Yeah.
City.
I think that's all I had. Any other stray thoughts before we go to predicts?
Just that I am a big swing and a miss. But yeah, we'll get into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Have we done 2.5 Men?
No.
I
I
don't
don't know,
love
Jim,
it.
have you?
I kind of just wish we had so that we don't have to still at some point, you know?
Yeah.
Is that a Chuck Lorre? It's got to be.
You should just
Yeah, it's
only
Chuck
do the
Lorre.
Ashton Kutcher scenes. Or
Oh
episodes.
yeah, that is another
At least
show
we get to end on that.
Yeah.
where they switch leads
And
at
with the
end too.
Kutch.
Man. Okay.
So
but-
basically, wait. So Spin City starts with Michael J. Fox. Boom. Bonus. Ends with Charlie Sheen.
Uh-huh.
Major downgrade. 2.5 Men starts with Charlie Sheen. Okay, whatever. Ends with Ashton Kutcher. And is an upgrade.
Upgrade? Question mark? Yeah.
Probably.
Only time will tell.
Have you seen The Ranch at all?
No.
You don't need to.
Don't.
I would, though, because
It's fine.
Sam... I always forget his last... It's not
Oh,
Sam
yeah, yeah.
Smith. 'cause
The-
that's the
the-
singer. Sam Elliott?
Sam
Yeah.
Elliott. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
He's-
could listen to him talk. So anything he's in...
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's good in it.
I mean, if he just says Coors the banquet
He
beer every
swears a
time.
lot, which is kind of weird. Anyway, go back and listen to the episode of
Yeah,
The
of
Ranch.
The Ranch.
We loved it. Joe, how'd you do?
Not great. Because I said Mike becomes president, and we don't necessarily know.
Yeah,
what
we
he
don't know.
did.
I mean, that could be right.
Yeah.
We never
But
know.
yeah, no points for that.
Non-conclusive.
The gang goes to Houlihan's. Seems like they don't really hang out outside of work. Someone orders a pizza. I didn't see anyone order food. They were eating popcorn at one point.
Yeah.
And then the minor character becomes the mayor, and knows, is it Brian Bostwick?
Barry.
Barry Bostwick
Yeah.
Barry Bostwick.
stays the mayor the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a surprise to me.
Mm-hmm. So 0 points for me.
Also, I didn't look it up, is he twice the size of Michael J. Fox?
He's got, I mean,
He's such
huge.
a big man, and Michael J. Fox is such a little man.
Yeah.
He looked little next to Gugino.
I mean, I think almost any character he was next. He's a tiny guy.
He's very short.
How tall? He's like 5'4".
Jeff,
or
how'd you do?
something?
Oh, big swing and a miss. Most of my predictions were based on a show going out respectively. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I a lot of them were, even I think they could have done an election night and still done like a run of the mill episode. But again, the fact that it didn't even play out. Hey, May. Didn't even play out as like a season finale to me. I think that's what even caught me off guard is unless they were canceled mid-season, which I can't imagine because I feel like these mid-season breaks are a thing of the now and not back then. But yeah, I completely missed. I mean, it wasn't election night. It wasn't the last day for the mayor. And Michael J. Fox did not make an appearance, which is the biggest opportunity that this show could have had.
It was episode 22, so They went a full normal length.
Yeah. So again, that's just, I think, to me, just the biggest shock that it didn't even, besides the last 30 seconds, it didn't even seem like a season finale to me.
Right.
Which, not every season, I guess, has to do that if it's a sitcom and I'm not a Hollywood exec.
The only thing I could think of is that some shows, like the network decides, like, we're actually going to air this episode in this order, like that you don't always know if your last episode's going to be your last aired episode. But even that's my only excuse for them.
But if you write one, I feel like the like a TV officials would be like, oh, that seems really fitting for an ending. Why are we going to air it for the third episode? That's weird.
Yeah, I just ugh. Okay, so I think I had 0 as well. I had a new mayor. I had that they were still spinning, having to spin with the new mayor. There was no new mayor and no spinning. There was nothing to hide from Paul. He was, in fact, hiding stolen glasses.
That's the ruse the whole time.
He was actually in charge. Paul was great. Richard Kind was still great. Yeah. I was like, I was kind of shocked to see him in the opening credits. Like, oh, he's still here. Okay, cool. Still doing it. And then, and no mention of the jar. I really hope they, they had a good time with it.
Yeah, I think Michael J. Fox took that kitty to DC.
Man, he earned it.
Yeah.
You can take my money.
Yep. But
that's all I got. 0.
All right. Way to go, team.
Great episode.
We did it. We successfully predicted the end of the show.
Oh, well, I guess we don't have to worry about Josh not remembering to tally our points.
I would love once if, like,
let's tell him we all scored a lot.
TV producers would do this as their concept. Be like, all right, here we just finished season 1, team. Let's rewatch the first one we aired, and let's just predict stuff. Let's see where this goes. Let's see what the writers have for us. And then at the end of the whole series, the producers are like, man, we did not get that, and that is why we fired everyone. But
that's why we're canceling.
That is why we are.
This is not the show we wanted.
Yeah. Yeah, sad. I mean, 6 years actually, I feel like a pretty good run for a sitcom. So it had to have. Yeah. I mean, I remember. I feel like enough. People liked it.
That's enough to get you syndicated, right?
Yeah.
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 Plenty.
Yeah.
It's enough to get you on Pluto TV.
I was gonna say enough syndication for Netflix, but or not Netflix,
not a sponsor.
But Pluto for sure.
It's plenty of seasons for if your main character had to leave the show for medical reasons.
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, they went 2 more without Michael J.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, again, IMDb. I think Michael J. Fox made it to over 100 episodes, and I think there's only 145. So yeah, that's 2 seasons. But that's again, there's plenty of shows out there that probably could go longer, and they have 3 or 4 or 1, things like that. So, give them a little bit of credit, I guess.
It just went 2 seasons too long. That's all.
But
I might be, if I don't pick up with episode 2, might just watch the last Michael J. episode.
Just to see him get sent off.
Just like how in The Office I stop after Michael leaves.
That's a shame.
Is it?
Yeah. I stick with it.
It's great. It's perfect.
But yeah, I'm waiting. So this is my, like I said, the 4th time. I'm waiting to leave one of these. I'm determined to come back and to watch a show and be like, now that was good. Holy.
One of these.
I'm only invested in 2 episodes, but man, I am hooked for life. Okay. And I will defend this show till the day I die.
You're looking for your Frasier. That's what you're saying.
We're all looking for a Frasier.
We're all just out there looking for a Frasier.
Joe, have you ever watched a full series of anything after?
Just that one like spooky show that we did that was like literally
This is 1 season long.
1 season long, like 15-minute episodes.
Yeah. Over the Garden Wall.
Yeah.
That is dope.
That was
That is
the
a
only
great
one.
that's a great series.
I've never even heard of it.
It was very short.
Was it on? Oh, it's not on Pluto. What is it?
I think we watched it on Hulu.
Yeah, it was like a Cartoon Network thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There was a time where I
Elijah
watched a good amount of Lost, but then
Oh, nice.
deep into the seasons, I just kind of something came up and I stopped watching. Like I
think
started
that's
watching
Like
something
most
else.
people.
I was gonna say I think that's most people when they watched it live
Yeah,
when it was on
exactly.
TV.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just kind of fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Jim?
Oh, I've watched I watched all 11 seasons of Frasier after our very first episode of this. Episode 1, listeners. Go back and
Yeah.
hear our weird audio.
But that's a 30-minute show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you
so
gone
it's
back and
23.
watched one where it's like, all right, there's like 6 seasons of this hour-long show? Like, I'm thinking if you like did a first and last of Game of Thrones, could you go back and be like,
Yeah.
I have time to dedicate for 8 seasons of an hour-long show? I think that's where I have, like, I would love to start all these shows that I haven't seen that are off the air. But I'm like, man, if they're not 30 minutes, I just...
Yeah, so much to catch up on.
It's
Yeah.
like a movie.
Yeah. I mean, I'll even like, and again, I know we're talking about Spincity, but like Breaking Bad was one I didn't watch live. And even though it's quote unquote one of like the top shows out there, it took a long time for me to get into it because after like 2 episodes, I'm like, God, do I want to invest this much time? I mean, I did, and it was good, but I definitely rank, it's a top 50 show. Where in the 50? I don't know, but top 50.
Top 50. All right.
Yeah, have I seen 50 shows? I don't know.
Yeah, you've seen 200. No, just kidding.
Yeah, I guess. I've at least seen the first and last and read the Wikipedia on.
Hundreds of shows.
Yeah,
Literally hundreds.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've done a full drama like that because we've done a lot of like HBO ones like The Wire and Sopranos and stuff that I like I tried to get through The Sopranos and man, that's a haul. Becomes a job. I've definitely done like Community and like shorter like comedies and stuff.
Yeah.
I have to look through our list and see. There's definitely shows worthy of it. I think The Sopranos is probably one of them. It's supposed to be one of the best shows of all time.
50.
The Wire is also in those lists all the time.
Top 50.
Man, did people hate on our Wire takes? And not surprising.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I think that'll do it for Spin City then. I think the things we're supposed to say are where to find us.
you figure it out.
We've been tweeting on and off F&L podcast on the Twitter. I think that's also the same handle for Instagram
On Facebook.
and then email. I think it also is fndlpodcast@gmail.com. So
That's right.
that's where you can shout at us if you loved the Charlie Sheen episodes of Spin City and want to correct us on the record. Also, if you have show suggestions, it's also a good place where we pull from when we run out of ideas after doing 200 so episodes.
Tell us, and we'll ruin your favorite shows.
Yeah. So stay tuned. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Did I forget anything?
Carla Gugino and Carla, again, Gugino, something like that. Carly Gugino was going to be in it. Oh, she's in a lot of stuff.